You ever notice how a woman somehow becomes the brightest version of herself the moment she walks out of your life? It's almost unreal, like the second she steps away from you, something in her switches on. And meanwhile, you're there, trying to pretend you're fine, telling yourself you're moving on. But the truth hits you in a place you didn't even know could hurt. All it takes is her name drifting through your mind, and suddenly your chest tightens, like you've been punched from the inside. You open the dating apps, hoping a new face might distract you, but everyone looks faded next to the memory of her. You avoid the restaurants, the streets, the small corners of the world you once shared, but somehow you still end up there, sitting with ghosts that feel more alive than the people around you. And here's the part most men never admit: you're not hurting because she's gone. You're hurting because she became someone else the second she left. A freer, sharper, more radiant version of herself. A version she never showed you. Watching her step into that new skin feels less like losing her and more like watching a door open to a world she never invited you into. And the more you think about it, the more you realize the divorce didn't just end the marriage. It tore open something deeper, something raw, something you were never prepared to see. Because when that structure collapsed, brother, it didn't crumble slowly, it detonated. One clean break, one violent silence, and she walked through it like she'd been waiting for the dust to settle. While you stood frozen, she moved forward without hesitation, without fear, without looking back, like her whole world had finally widened the moment yours narrowed. That's the shock you're left holding, not that she's gone, but that she bloomed the moment you stepped out of her story. And this is where the real truth begins. The destruction, the reconstruction. The version of her you never knew existed. Welcome to the collapse, brother. The part where everything you thought you understood finally starts to crack. Number 1. She reclaims attention. You sit in silence. You ever notice how the moment she leaves, it's like she steps back into a world that was waiting for her? No hesitation, no stumbling, just this sudden rush of energy. Like someone lit a fire under everything she used to doubt about herself. And while you're still trying to make sense of the silence she left behind, she's out there moving like she's reclaiming oxygen after years underwater. It hits you fast. That shift, that glow, that spark you swear she never showed you. And the truth is, she didn't. Not because she couldn't, but because she didn't need to. Not then. When a woman loses the relationship that once defined her worth, something ancient snaps awake inside her. It's not romance. It's not revenge. It's survival. A raw, primal instinct that whispers, prove you're still wanted. Prove you're still valuable. Prove you're still alive. And she listens, hard. So she steps into the world, seeking signs, eyes turning toward her, compliments thrown her way, attention flooding her phone, and every tiny piece of validation hits her like oxygen she didn't realize she was starving for. Meanwhile, you're sitting there wondering why she seems so alive without you, like her world expanded the moment yours shrank. But brother, that's the instinct you're watching. The ancient one, the one that pushes her to re-enter the world loudly, boldly, desperately, just to confirm she's still whole. This isn't about you. This is the human mind fighting extinction, and she's following it with everything she has. Number 2, her body, her rules, reclaiming power after pain. Once that instinct kicks in, once she feels that first hit of being wanted, again something deeper starts to shift. You'll see it before you understand it. The late-night gym check-ins, the new clothes, the way her posture changes when she walks into a room. It happens fast, almost violently, like she's pulling her body back from the life she left behind. Because after she's proved she's still desirable, she moves to the next truth she needs to secure control. She spent years treating her body like a shared resource, something given, something offered, something softened to fit the shape of a relationship. But now, it becomes hers again. Entirely. Fiercely. Every rep at the gym is a rebellion. Every defined line on her body is a declaration. Every compliment she gets is another brick in the walls she's rebuilding around herself. And it's not about looking good for someone new. It's about fortifying herself against who she used to be. Meanwhile, you watch from a distance, wondering how she found the discipline, the fire, the confidence she never showed when she was standing beside you. But the truth is simple. This is what happens when a woman feels she must survive on her own. Her body becomes the first fortress she rebuilds because it's the one thing she can control in a world that just spun off its axis. And you can feel it, can't you? That sting in your chest, because it looks like she's becoming the strongest version of herself, right after she walked away from you. Number 3, rewriting history to survive the past. And once her body feels strong again, once she's rebuilt that outer fortress, she turns inward to defend something far more fragile. Her story, because no matter how disciplined she becomes, no matter how bright she looks on the outside, there's still a part of her that remembers the pain, the fear, the uncertainty of stepping out of a life she once depended on. And to keep herself from slipping back into it, she has to rewrite the past in a way that makes her escape feel necessary, even heroic. You'll see it happen slowly at first. The way she talks about the relationship starts to shift. Moments that were complicated become toxic. Arguments that had two sides suddenly become entirely your fault. The good days fade. The bad days sharpen. And before long, the story she tells the world and herself isn't the one you lived through together. It's the one she needs to believe to survive the choice she made. And brother, this is the part that punches hardest, because you find yourself arguing with a version of the past that never existed. A version where you played the villain and she played the survivor. But it's not personal. It's protection. It's the armor she builds around her decision so she doesn't collapse under the weight of doubt. She isn't rewriting history to hurt you. She's rewriting it so she can keep moving without looking back. And whether you like it or not, her new story is the bridge she must burn to stop herself from ever running back across it. And if this truth hit you somewhere deep, brother, take a moment to do me a small favor, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your simple action can help more people who are struggling with this issue find the content they need. Thank you for being a part of this. Number 4, public validation. Her new oxygen. Once she's convinced herself that leaving was the only way to survive, she steps into a new kind of hunger. Not for love, not for connection, for validation. The loud kind, the public kind, the kind that drowns out every whisper of doubt still echoing inside her. And that's when you start to see her everywhere online, outside, in circles she never stepped into before. It's like she's standing on a stage she didn't even know she wanted, letting the lights hit her in ways they never did when she was with you. Every post becomes a message. Every selfie becomes evidence. Every like becomes a heartbeat telling her she made the right choice. And you watch it all happen in real time, wondering why she suddenly needs the world's attention when she never asked for yours this loudly. But brother, that's the math of a mind trying to stabilize itself. She lost one clear source of affirmation, your steady, quiet devotion. And now she's replacing it with a flood of smaller, faster hits from a crowd of strangers who don't know her, don't question her, don't challenge her. It isn't that she wants to be admired. It's that she needs proof, constant proof, that she isn't falling apart. So she builds a spotlight around herself, crafting an image so polished, so vibrant, that even you can't look away. And the hardest part is how effortless it looks. Like each compliment is lifting her higher, while you're still trying to climb out of the rubble of what used to be. This isn't her trying to show off. This is her trying not to disappear. Number 5, when she unlocks everything you once hoped for, and once she's gathered enough attention to steady herself, once the outside world starts reflecting back. A version of her she can finally believe in. Something deeper begins to unfold inside her. Something you might have sensed before, but never fully saw. It starts quietly, almost invisibly, like a spark catching in dry wood. The energy she used to pour into the relationship, the small compromises, the emotional balancing, the constant effort of maintaining peace, all of it starts flowing somewhere new. And you feel it the moment you see her move with that strange new clarity, like she's been waiting her whole life to wake up. She starts picking up pieces of herself she once abandoned without ceremony, old ambitions, forgotten talents, shelved dreams she swore she'd come back to someday. And now, someday, arrives with a force that looks almost supernatural. She signs up for classes. She launches projects. She makes career moves she never dared to take when her life revolved around keeping a relationship stable. You watch it happen, and there's this quiet ache inside you, because she's becoming the woman you always believed she could be, just not with you. And it's not that you failed her. It's that the structure of being someone's wife required her to shrink certain parts of herself to keep the whole thing balanced. But the moment she steps outside that structure, those buried parts ignite. They stretch. They expand. They demand space. And standing there, watching her rise like that, you realize the most painful truth of all: she didn't transform in your absence. She transformed because she finally had the room to. Number 6. When her growth reflects your stagnation. As you watch her rise like that, as her potential unfolds in ways you always hoped for, but never witnessed, you start feeling something heavier than jealousy, deeper than loss. It's that quiet moment when the world stops spinning fast enough for you to finally see yourself. Not the man you tried to be for her, not the man you pretended to be for everyone else, but the man you are now, sitting in the aftermath, holding the silence she left behind. There's a point where her success stops feeling like an attack and starts becoming a mirror, a cold, unforgiving reflection of everything you postponed, everything you buried, everything you told yourself you'd fix when life settled. But life never settled, did it? You were too busy surviving the relationship, too busy keeping the structure intact, too busy hoping later would save you. And now later has arrived, without her in it. And brother, this is where the real sting begins. Because you realize you're grieving more than the marriage. You're grieving the version of yourself you could have become, but didn't. The man you thought you'd grow into alongside her. The future you assumed was guaranteed simply because you loved her. But love doesn't build a man. Pressure does. Loss does. Truth does. And now the truth is in your hands. Not her glow, not her new life, not her success. Just you, and the quiet understanding that the only life left to rebuild is your own. Number 7. She moved on. You must detach. And once that mirror turns on you, once you finally see the truth without the haze of anger or nostalgia, something else becomes painfully clear. She's no longer moving with you in mind. Not your feelings, not your hopes, not your memories. The woman you knew is gone, and the one standing in her place is operating on a different frequency, one where your existence barely registers. And that's the part that hits hardest. Not because she's being cruel, but because she's being efficient. When someone steps into survival mode, the past becomes excess weight, and she's cutting it fast, clean, without ceremony. You're not the villain in her story, not really just background noise in a life she's rebuilding from scratch. And that realization stings because you're still carrying the emotional debt of what you had. While she's already converted everything into momentum, you're remembering. She's erasing. You're holding on. She's clearing space. But brother, this is where your freedom quietly begins, because the moment you understand that her choices aren't about you, the moment you see that her detachment is mechanical, predictable, almost biological, you stop personalizing the pain. You stop interpreting her silence as punishment. You stop treating her success as a judgment on your worth. And slowly, you feel something shift inside you, a loosening, a release. You realize that her indifference isn't an insult, it's data. And data has no power unless you give it meaning. This is the code of irrelevance, the moment you stop being the center of her world. You finally get the chance to become the center of your own. Number 8. Build yourself without needing her back. It's strange how the moment you stop trying to matter to her, you start hearing the parts of yourself you've ignored for years, the quiet ambitions, the old instincts, the pieces of the man you were supposed to become long before love distracted you from your own path. They start whispering again, steady, patient, like they've been waiting for this exact collapse to finally speak up. Because now, with nothing left to lose, nothing left to chase, nothing left to prove, you have something she no longer has: space. The kind of empty, open space that terrifies most people because it forces them to meet themselves without the safety net of a relationship to hide behind. But brother, that space is your advantage. It's the soil where a different kind of man is built. Not a husband, not a partner, not someone defined by what he offers another person. A sovereign man, one who stands on his own name, his own values, his own purpose. And you start to realize that the life you thought she stole from you wasn't stolen at all. It was handed back, returned, released. Because now you're no longer designing your days around her mood, her needs, her expectations. Now every ounce of energy that once went to maintaining a shared world is free for one thing: building your own. And for the first time since she walked away, you feel it, the faint, steady pulse of a man coming back to himself. And when that pulse finally steadies, when your feet land on ground that no longer trembles, you see the truth hiding beneath all the wreckage. She was never the finish line. She was the turning point. The moment life pushed you toward the man you were always meant to face. Not the broken version, not the one begging for closure. The one who learns to rise without applause, without validation, without needing anyone to rewrite his worth. Somewhere along the path, the sting fades. The jealousy dies out. The instinct to check on her becomes a quiet thought you no longer entertain. She stops being a mirror, a wound, a threat. She becomes what she always should have been, just another human finding her way. And for the first time, you finally feel the weight lift from your chest, not because she changed, but because you did. That's the real freedom. Brother, the moment her story stops pulling you backward, and your own story starts calling you forward, your purpose settles. Your peace solidifies. Your identity becomes something no one can touch again. And when the dust clears, the truth stands there waiting for you, simple, quiet, undeniable. The only real loss now is walking away from the man you're finally becoming. If you're ready to step fully into that man, stay with me. We walk the rest of this path together. Thank you for being here. Brother, every word we share here is a reminder that calm doesn't mean weak, and silence doesn't mean lost. If this resonated with you, stay a while, reflect, listen, let it settle. We're building something real, a quiet brotherhood built on truth, not noise. See you in the next video where we keep walking this path together.